Lily, welcome to In Real Time.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, so exciting.
So exciting.
We were just actually having a look at the camera on the screen and we look very bougie in this camera.
We look airbrushed and I want it no other way.
No other way.
My phone, I don't know if that camera's lying to me or my phone's lying to me. Someone's lying to me.
I think it's the phone. It's too high tech and I need a little bit less.
I just feel like my phone, you know, what do they call it? Object permanent? No, where they design them to get crappier over time. So you have to buy a new one. My camera is arse. My phone's not even that old.
Completely agree. This is so off topic, but because Tegan, my content girl, has got like an iPhone 15, one of my old phones. Yeah. It's better camera than my iPhone 17.
Riddle me that.
And we always talk about it.
Riddle me that.
Anyway, so off topic already, two ADHD girls, put them in a room. I want to start by just giving a little bit of a broad overview of who you are. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell you a funny story about how I heard about you.
Please.
One of my very first podcasts, I had my girlfriend Kim on. She's a founder in Melbourne, and we're talking about people on the internet that's inspiring us at the moment.
Oh my God, Kim. What's her last name?
Kim, oh God, I don't know what her last name is, but she
Wedding Girl.
Yeah, founder of Nudo.
Yes. Nudo, I've never met her, but I have so many parasocial friends on the internet.
She loves you.
And I love her.
Yeah,
we voice memo back and forth all the time.
Yeah, she's like, you need to look up this girl, Lily, and what she's building in New York. And I was like, oh my God. And then I came across your stuff and I was like, I'm obsessed.
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm obsessed. So you're from Adelaide?
Yep.
You're over in New York City. You're living here. Your career started in marketing and content. Uh-huh. You built a reputation online for breaking down beauty and consumer trends. You founded Barefaced, and I think you'll found a million more things by the sound of it, but a beauty media platform focused on explaining what is happening behind the beauty industry rather than simply just reviewing products. You've launched Barefaced podcast, where you analyse beauty brands, retail trends, marketing strategies, and consumer behaviour. And you're over here just building, networking, and raising money.
So it all took kind of a pivot. That's a really nice, concise footnote of what has been such a non-linear career
100.
Path that I need to pinch that and put it somewhere, because I struggle to articulate this sometimes. I think it makes so much sense when you're looking back and with hindsight, but sometimes I'm like, So I finished high school. I was only good at maths. So I was like, okay, I'll study computer science. Did that for all of 2 minutes and then was like, I don't want to be a tech bro. I want to work in beauty, because I was infatuated with this world. I grew up on the internet during the YouTube era of it all. I would get home from school and do one eye look on one eye and one on the other, just because I loved the ritual, the practice of, I think it was the play element really. And I fell in love with the industry, and I found one founder who, her name's Kirsten Carriol. She's the founder of Liner Lips.
Yes.
I became obsessed with her story because she's from rural South Australia.
Yes.
I had dropped out of uni, but I was really fixated on moving to Sydney because that's where uni was going to be.
Yeah.
So I cold emailed her and I was like, these are all the reasons that you should let me work for you. And she was like, are you in Sydney? I said, not yet. And then she offered me 1 week of work experience, and I got my car, drove to Sydney from Adelaide. I was like, I'm here. And then just peacocked as best I could, and that's how I got my footing in the beauty industry. So I worked in beauty in-house and in agency in Sydney for nearly 5 years.
Yeah.
And I felt like someone had showed me in the back door, and I was hearing things that I wasn't meant to hear. It blew my mind open at truly the business dynamics of this industry, that I became so infatuated, enthralled about the business.
Yeah.
Of how, particularly, it's such a marketers-driven industry. You've got all these different brands. Once you see a beauty P&L sheet, you cannot unsee it because the margins are so high to justify the marketing cost, that I was like, what the hell? What is this?
Beauty's a world of its own.
It is a whole other ball game. And this was 2021, so kind of pre the TikTok surge, post D2C, the industry was tail end of the pandemic, or maybe we were in the thick of it. I think in Australia we were still in the thick of it, but everyone was getting online, learning about the ingredients of skincare. We were on our phones, again, TikTok, all looking at our own faces.
Absolutely.
So beauty was having this real renaissance, and I was like, there's no one online that's explaining why we buy.
Yes.
I wasn't really interested in telling people what to buy, because there are people that are much better at that from an artistry standpoint or a medical standpoint.
Yeah.
I was just how does this world actually function? I wanted to be able to read between the lines.
Yeah.
And so I started posting on the internet about everything that I was learning while I was working at these brands. It was really ad hoc. I had 6 months off 3 times. It was really just for fun.
Yeah.
And then when I was working in-house at these brands, I basically found that there was like this data problem, this data gap where I was working at a global brand at the time on the global brand team, and no one was sitting down to look at our CRM, our e-com data. We had a really strong retail network, both standalone stores, brick and mortar, and also through retail partners. And no one in the global brand team was making any sense of that. We were just kind of looking left and right at what our competitors were doing and being like, what are they doing? Let's market ourselves accordingly to that. So I thought if I go and get more technical, go back to uni, bring it back to the industry, I can hopefully make some more money.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I got more technical, posted about it on the internet, had inbound from all these smaller brands that were like, we really need someone to help us understand the market, and then started, market research agency, that was my last year while I was in school. So I did that while I was doing full-time computer science, which was silly, but story for another time.
Absolutely.
And then pivoted into software at the start of the year. So now I'm building Unfiltered, which is really like a letterboxed or a belly for beauty, where we monetize by collecting those reviews and connecting them back to brands to help them build better stuff and hopefully kind of reshape the industry. So the brands that are winning are the brands that are building the most efficacious products and kind of returning it to this place of play rather than this trend-chasing echo chamber that we've really seen speed up in the last few years, where the brand that wins is the one that like copies an indie player that's trained the market. I always use the example of lip tints. Like you got these indie players that come out with these really cool innovations, but then you have the big brands swoop in at the last minute that are already in bed with the likes of Sephora,
of course,
and then win based on distribution. I think that model physically can't work for much longer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do I be the one to build
something new?
The new age. Yeah.
I love that so much.
That's
just it in a nutshell.
That's the long-winded and then the New York of it all is even crazier. I've been here for 4 months. I came here for a 2-week business trip.
Yeah.
I came over with a VC firm out of Queensland called Tribe.
Yes.
They are brilliant. They do these 3 times annual trips where they take Aussie founders and help them integrate into different markets.
Wow.
So I came with them. I scored a government funded spot. Thank you, Government of South Australia.
Amazing.
And then stayed on my friend's couch in Bushwick for a week. Went to a heap of networking events. Yeah. Managed to get scouted for this accelerator in the city, and now I live here.
That is just insane.
It was insane. That was in March, and we're in June. It's just. Yeah.
It is crazy. I think the trajectory of what you're doing and what you're building is, I think, so innovative as well. I know beauty is a beast of its own. It's a whole different world. But I think it's a region that isn't I don't know, I wouldn't say that you see a lot of people trying to make a difference in it. It does feel like a very rinse and repeat kind of area of, whether it's e-com, B2B, whatever. So I think someone coming in, especially a woman, and really disrupting that ecosystem is so fucking cool to see.
Thank you. It's been a really, really conscious effort because there's not much incentive to shake it up.
Absolutely.
Because it's so monetizable. There's just so much money to be made in the amount of brand deals that I've declined from beauty brands on the barefaced account because I have this kind of new age publishing legitimacy that came with the fact that I never took money from beauty brands and I never promoted beauty brands. So obviously beauty brands would then be that is a worthwhile person to have us sell. But I never took any money from a brand because I just thought that would erode the point.
Yeah, and that's why you've been able to build exactly what you've been able to build, and that's why you will be able to build what you build in the future.
Here's fucking hoping.
So let's get into the start of it. I want to know what you're moving through in your world right now in real time.
Man.
Business, life, everything.
Yeah, it's definitely the life stuff that'll kill me. The work stuff is just so fun.
Yes.
That I'm very energized by the momentum, and there's always cool things happening. I think I take a lot of meetings, go to a lot of events. So I always meet someone who's now you got to talk to this person and this person. I find that really energizing, but at the same time, the lack of routine, moving all the time.
Of course.
It's the lack of...
New York in general.
It is a different pace. I do really think it suits me, but it's been an adjustment.
Absolutely.
My sleep is terrible. I think it's just the classic founder narrative of its priorities, right? Right now, all I want to do is work. and that's great until it catches up to you. You burn out, then you got to kind of readjust. This week was more social than I've been in my 4 months in the city, purely because my heart and mind needed it.
Absolutely.
But now I'm so far behind. Like, I feel like I either have great mental health or great business momentum.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual business, I've raised a really, really small, like, angel round, which has been really interesting, and understanding that, like, in the US, there's so much money. There's so much money. So I came here and I was like, I mean, the figure bounced around so many times, but I came over here because I was like, I need to hire a CTO to be like a legitimate software business. I like went to the Bay Area, showed them my investor demo. They're like, you built this? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you technical? I'm like, I've got half a computer science degree. They're like, you're the CTO.
Yes.
Pay yourself, be in the States, one woman show. I was like, really? So that completely flipped my use of funds.
Okay.
And so then it was like, okay, I just need us to be in the city, keep doing what I'm doing, try and close the gap on product market fit. And then because of that, pardon me, it became not about how much cash can you get, but whose cash.
Absolutely.
Because being like a first-time founder, a female from Australia, no connections, what I really needed was these like pedigree unlocks of like, I've been vetted by some sort of institution, some sort of like legitimate body to be worth someone's time.
Yes.
So when I got into Antler, the accelerator, that was the first big unlock, which was great. And then I got my first angel, was a venture partner at like one of the biggest consumer funds. So then they matched their really small check, but it was like, oh, this kid can raise like legit cash.
Unlock,
And it's just like all fundraising is like dating. And it's like a FOMO game.
100%.
Like I was talking to a fund, they were like, oh, so do you want to pitch us? And I was like, no, I'm not raising. And they like sat up taller and suddenly I was worth their time. Like, it's like you tell a boy that you're not keen and you walk the other way and then they're like,
play hard to get.
Completely.
In all areas. Absolutely.
But it's utter bullshit. Like actually learning this landscape has been the most, and that's why I'm so thankful. Like New York's really good for a founder network too, where like through Antler and other means, like I've met a lot of second, third time founders.
Yes.
Because that's a thing here.
Yep.
People build businesses to let leave and then build another business but then they've done it before. So I have one friend who's raised like 14 million his lifetime across 2 different businesses, successful exit, consumer and B2B, that I'm just like, we'll go for a drink and I'm like, when they tell me this, what do they actually mean?
Yeah.
And with venture, it's like we are the consumers of venture.
Absolutely.
So it's like the same dynamic as like being a consumer on TikTok and looking at a brand's like beauty products, except we are so they have no incentive to tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
And like they want to keep you engaged, and everyone wants to say that they're your first institutional check just so they see the best deals. And I was like, what does this mean?
And it's so overwhelming. And I think we don't speak about it a lot in Australia, you know, investment, angel investing, because it's not really something, I mean, it is. We definitely have it in Australia, but it's nothing like the US.
It's incomparable. It's actually incomparable.
And I think when you do hear about it, it's so small. There's such a minority in Australia. So I want to really nut down, when you are getting investment for Unfiltered, what is that investment really going to? Is it building out the app? Is it you in terms of like your network you're building?
Yeah.
What is that? Where are you at the moment in this infancy of this kind of thing that you're building out? Like, what is that going to?
The use of funds question is so brilliant because
I think it's interesting, right? Like when we're young founders, I'm like, I think of like before I started my brand, I was like, how does that work? And where does that go? And then what is that for? And blah, 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 blah. So I find it so interesting.
It's the exact same question that I've been asking a lot recently, because you'll see founders that, like, I met someone in the Bay Area who's an Aussie who they raised 2 million pre-product, pre-idea.
Wow.
And so I was like, the fuck can I swear?
Of course you can. Yeah, everyone always asks that. I'm like, hello, yes.
I'm like, yes. I swear so much. It's terrible.
God, I'm really
in the
bad.
US, you'll just see them like,
they don't like it. They can tell when it's like that rough Aussie.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh,
and then I referred to myself as a bogan the other day, and they were like, what? And I'm like, a redneck, but not. Anyway, the use of funds question is so interesting, because I'm like, what is that money for? And it comes back to the fact that like investors, it's the FOMO game. It's like they're all sheep, and they will be the first to tell you that. A good investor will be the first to tell you that.
Absolutely.
Because basically what this other founder was able to do is just say that like whatever I build, it's going to be huge, and this legit person who is credible in their own right
Yeah.
believes me. It's like the only way in the ecosystem to bypass, like, you know how if you meet someone out for a drink and they're a finance bro and they're like, I work at BCG or I work at McKinsey, and like it's an automatic this,
Yeah.
rather than a founder, you're so early that your version of that is like who you're backed by.
Absolutely.
It's so whack. But to your question about use of funds, is what I've learned is that so many people don't have one.
Of course.
They don't actually, they just are like, I want to raise enough so that for whatever I end up doing, I have the money, and also so I'm employed for the next 3 years so I can pull this off.
Absolutely.
Or the next, like, because that's the other thing about venture is that you pretty much have to, once you get on that rat race, you have to commit to raising every 18 to 24 months so they can prove to their LPs that it's their investment's gone up in value. It's just like...
And investing's also scary. I think, you know, like I think it depends on the brand you're building and what you're doing. Like,
it's completely different in software to consumer as well.
Completely different. Because I do think the world of software and what you're building, it takes continuous engineering. You know, you have your prototype, you launch it, then you got to have a million things that you need to update and change, and that shit costs so much money.
Used to.
Is it not that much anymore?
It's all AI. This was the kind of my big unlock.
Okay.
So I had my original raise amount, which I won't say because it changes so many times that I'm like, if I say it, it'll be different next week. So it's not even worth. It was in the hundreds of Ks.
Okay, amazing. And where did you first, like, let's go back to that. Like, I think
where did that number come from?
But like, where did you even start sourcing? I'm trying to think about like the young founders who have got a vision that listen to this podcast. Like, where did you even start?
With that, where did I find the number? Is that the question?
Just like, where did you find the investors?
Oh my God, I didn't raise that. I didn't raid that.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my like, I had a number in mind because...
That's a number that okay.
And that came from the fact, to your point, that I was like, I need a legit engineer. So I originally had a co-founder. They were the CTO. And as soon as I kind of lost that, they were great. We wanted different things for the business. It all, pardon me, panned out the best way that it could.
Of course.
But I was like, okay, I now need... They were quite junior.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need the best of the best. It's going to be $200K a year.
Yeah.
I want them for at least 2 years, so I need to raise $500,000. Put myself on $80K, give them 2 years, a little bit of marketing budget. That's how I came up with the number.
Right.
But again, I went to the Bay and they were like, that's not how we're hiring anymore. Because the other thing is, like, I started with a purely B2B business, and now that I've pivoted into consumer, is that like you just have to... Changing consumer behavior is really fucking hard.
Absolutely. It's ingrained.
It's really, really difficult. And so that's kind of the VC side of it all, is that like if you can prove that you can change consumer behavior, then you become backable. You don't have to worry about all the B2B people have to worry about, which is like proving that people will pay for your stuff. My thing is like if you can actually get this longitudinal beauty consumer data set that is obviously valuable in an AI era, because that's the number one question that any VC will ask now is like, how are you AI defensible? I'm conscious of this being like very software adjacent, but how is Claude not going to come and replace you
Absolutely.
in like 4 weeks is kind of the real question. And the only real way that I found is by going further down the stack. Like if you own the data that Claude can't go and regenerate,
exactly,
then you're defensible. But anyway, to answer the use of funds questions, because then it was like, if I don't have to pay that person who I'd gone and founded, who I'd gone and found,
who you'd started building
slip.
with,
then I don't need as much money.
Yeah.
So then it was like, can I be smarter about who I get the money from so that I can build out, again, as a solo founder, this advisory network, not even advisory network because they've given their cash. So I found like people that were in the data space, someone that was like working at a competitor, someone at a really, really big consumer conglomerate to legitimize me.
Yes.
So that when I go and turn around and raise venture, which I think will be somewhere in 4 to 8 weeks. That becomes like pouring fuel on a fire.
Absolutely.
Like right now I'm like sitting around with kindling and like you're just running a bunch of experiments, which is pretty cheap. But really what the big use of funds questions become is like, that's all team. So like I'm lucky because I started with a media business. I have like I know what works.
You've got backing.
First thing will be like, I need help to do more of what we know works.
Yes, of course.
Then once we're able to do that consistently, then we'll start fucking around with all this other stuff.
And
that becomes the broader marketing budget.
Talking about you know, what, like, I guess what you're building is so different, and I think when that kind of comes to life, What do you hope it does for brands? Like, you know, these massive, huge beauty brands and the consumer. Like, what is your hope out of building this brand?
I want to change fundamentally how people experience beauty.
Yeah.
I think at the core of what I'm trying to build, both on the brand side and the consumer side, is reshifting this what wins.
Yeah.
If we can connect real consumers to real reviews from people that look and live like them, they can find stuff that actually works. Beauty has a function problem.
Yeah.
You functionally want a product to do something.
Yeah.
But when you're in this demand fulfillment type purchasing behavior that Amazons and TikToks have perfected, you're not buying things that are perfect for you. You're buying things that are trending. And that can only work for so long because you're buying so much stuff that it's cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's eroding the other part, which is the beauty level experience. Beauty is fundamentally meant to be fun, playful. It's a non-essential good.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't have the experience that comes with that type of purchase, you're not willing to pay the beauty type prices, which is why you see K-beauty skyrocketing and you see Estee Lauder plummeting. There's this huge shift, and I think on top of that is beauty's now got this saturation problem where there's so much stuff that the brand can't do this marketing pray and spray that they've been doing for years, where L'Oreal was big enough to get the biggest billboards and put all the big celebrities up there, so when you're walking down the supermarket aisle, you are like, oh well, I've seen that mascara before, I'm going to buy it. That doesn't work anymore because we've all got such personalized experiences. Part of me of these categories that there's a fundamental saturation problem. That before you had the Sephoras, the Ultas, even the Woolies, the Kohl's. That they can only stock so many moisturizers. So it became this win the distribution, win everything. But now you can have an indie player that can go from having an idea to selling on TikTok Shop in a matter of minutes. So it's become a supply chain thing, the brands that can market the fastest.
Of course.
But I think if we could pivot all of that back to there's so much stuff, what's right for you, and actually build a beauty level digital experience around that, I think that's the future of beauty. And I think at that point, the brands that build the best stuff win, and the consumers get the best things that work for them. It seems like a utopia.
100%. And how does that work on Unfiltered? When I'm picturing it in my brain, it's an app I go to, I put in what I'm wanting, really clear what my skin's what I want. Is that kind of walk me through the vision of that? I'm so intrigued.
It's
without giving away all your secrets,
there are no secrets. I have so many competitors in the space, and I literally met one yesterday.
Wow.
I've met 3 or 4 of them, and I had a coffee with this guy who's building the same thing, and he's pedigree beauty. If anyone's gonna win purely based on network, then he will win. But we were chatting. There are no secrets because fundamentally you have to shift consumer behavior, and that is so difficult. I think what you've described is telling some sort of algorithm everything about you, and hopes that is then able to poop out the best things for you. I think that's a Claude. I think that's some sort of MCP that plugs into everything it already knows about your chatting and then is able to recommendations. I don't think that's what I'm building. I think I'm building more of a beauty social network. Where it's because there's this human element about beauty. What I found when I sat down, I was doing all this consumer research. I sat down with a bunch of teenagers and I was like, how do you discover beauty? They all go to TikTok, but if they see someone talking about a product, they immediately assume that person's been compensated in some way or they were sent the product. So instead they go to the comments and they start trying to find what real people are actually saying about that thing. And they begin vetting them for similarities with themselves. So one girl had chronic skin picking, so she was looking for sensitivity keywords. One girl had acne, so she was looking for acne keywords.
Of course.
Obviously, and they were less articulate because they were teens, but I think that is the behavior, this research level behavior that is right now, it's so sliced and diced across. You'll probably go to a Reddit and see again what real people are saying. People that are Reddit is known to be pretty cutthroat. Then you'll probably go and look at the ingredients list on a retailer site. Then you'll probably text a friend. Maybe you ask a chat. I'm how do we house that deliberation experience and birth these micro communities in which you see someone talking about cool toned blush, and then you can exit that TikTok, be immediately immersed with like 100 other women that are solving that exact problem, chat about it, and then leave. Because I think that's a very, very different experience than the Upper East Side mum who is looking for a mineral sunscreen that's going to suit a toddler.
Of course.
That, like, I think in this new age of like data and generative AI is that like suddenly building experiences for those 100 group communities is economical. It's doable. So I think really what we're doing is some sort of like generative social commerce where it's like you enter the app and you have a certain experience around everything we know about you and the point in which you entered.
Yeah. Have you done like a prototype of it?
So this is a pivot that happened 2 weeks ago.
Okay. We love that.
Because it came about that I built the first version of the platform, which was like a letterbox for beauty. And then I handed it to early users and they were like, but there's no reviews. I'm like, well, no shit. So then it was classic cold start problem, which you have to build something like a tool and a function that people want to use enough that they come for the tool and they stay for the network. So I was like, what group of people are so obsessed that they will go and log a bunch of stuff that we can then turn on the social features? And I had this post go crazy a couple months ago at the end of Feb in the color analysis community.
I saw this.
It went, but it's the only thing I've ever done that went bonkers on TikTok, Substack, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Wow.
I have never had a 4 for 4 in my life.
Wow.
But I got the hex color codes of every blush at Ulta.
Yeah.
Because again, from a B2B point of view, I wanted to analyze like that's the saturation problem, because that's really what I'm like fixated on in beauty. Is like there's so much stuff. Who gets to win?
Yeah.
But I then got all of these followers who were obsessed with color analysis. So I was like, hey guys.
Perfect.
But all the comments were like, this is great, but color can't be digitized. Color is so human, because this hex code, I've been the person at the brands to pick these hex codes, and I can promise you go to Photoshop and you get like a dropper and you're like, that's close enough, chuck it up.
Yeah.
Give that hex to the retailer. Like, it's not a science.
No.
So people wanted to talk to each other and be like, what does that actually look like on you? So I put 100 of them in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
I was like,
and this is why, just to cut you in, cut you in between, this is why there's creators at the moment that are going majorly viral for doing reviews of real product on their skin.
Yeah.
And I think that, especially in the US, and there's a creator that I follow, and I'm not going to be able to remember her name now, which is so annoying. But she comes out a lot and she's just like, I'm just so brutally honest, even if they pay me. Because the
colours... Is it Gloria? Is she a dark-skinned woman?
Yes. Yeah. And I just saw her recent thing about House Labs, and obviously I see all of her stuff. But it is so true.
Yeah.
It's
There's
so
that. I
true.
think like beauty has beauty's skin tone problem is very comparable to fashion sizing problem.
Oh, 100%.
In the sense that like that's really... It comes down to SKU count. It comes down to like cost for the brand to carry like amount of shades, rah.
Yeah.
But there's a real inclusivity gap. But I think that in beauty, that has been true for a really long time.
Yeah.
But what fascinates me about the color analysis element of that is that like people have, to solve the saturation issue, people have invented new language. People are going like draping different shades across them to see what brings out different, just so that they have filters over the number of shades that they're available to them.
Okay.
Like people are like, that's how, it's just a perfect example of what I kind of want to solve is just there's so much stuff. Yeah. How do you decide what's going to work for you? And so with this color analysis community in the WhatsApp, for instance, I found that the winter group. Yeah. So there's like summer, autumn, winter, spring, and then we've also now got one for olive. But the winter group, so this is people that have a bright and cool undertone. I don't shop like this, so this is very foreign to me.
Yeah.
They were 3 times more active than the general chat.
Okay.
And I'm like thinking, what? It's because they have the least product options.
Yeah.
So what I learned as like a software developer through that was that like the specificity is the product. That's what people are losing through the algorithm. Yeah. Is that people want to like talk in these like hyper engaged communities over very, very specific need state concerns and also identity. Yeah. They're like, I am a winter. that I was like, oh, there's something there. Because I thought it would be like start with the color analysis people.
Yeah.
And then we go and get the people that are really interested in skin tone.
Of course.
Then we go and get the hair color people. And then until we have like all of makeup, then we go into skin and we grow over time.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, is there a world in which we can build like what would Sephora look like in 2026? I feel like if we both walked to Union Square Sephora and one was perfectly built for Millie and one was perfectly built for Lily.
Yeah.
They'd be
Lily.
I know. They would be like drastically different experiences.
Absolutely.
That you couldn't do before.
It's crazy because as you're talking, I know that you're B2B and, you know, I know that.
Who knows?
But I think what you're talking about is, I don't want to say D2C, but that's how it feels to me. It feels like a D2C. Like
it's B2C for sure.
It's like, you know, I'm coming to the app for something as a consumer.
Yep.
That I feel like you're helping me get. But B2B, is this brand going to be, like when you're talking, I'm like, this can be two different pillars.
Yep.
This can be like unfiltered the app for, you know, for customers going to, you know, in that world, wanting to know more, wanting to have discernment over what they're choosing, having more education, everything like that. But that B2B pillar, as you're talking, I'm like, holy fuck, that could be like absolutely major. Like being able to deliver that to brands and to brands who want, obviously, I know a lot of brands probably just don't care. They're conglomerates. They're just kind of like whatever. But for brands who really care, like the Fenties, like House Labs, all these brands that potentially would be so interested, like that's fucking huge.
It's so, like, I have so much to say. I think firstly, you've described exactly what the pivot was that like my original concept was B2B2C.
Yeah.
So it's a B2C platform that we monetize B2B because I saw the opportunity as like, if we don't have to monetize through consumers, we can be a truly trusted neutral third party that we can offer this like hopefully revolutionary beauty experience 100%. Because we don't need you to purchase. But what I learnt in building is that like I was kind of handicapping myself by doing two things at once. Yeah. So when I spent way too long because I was new to the B2B space, way too long trying to understand like the beauty B2B sales cycle.
Yeah.
And like who are the people I should talk to? What are the budget sizes? And I had, again, inbound consulting work that I thought, yes, like early revenue, I could pivot these into pilot conversations. But what these companies wanted was a focus grouping tool. That is not what I wanted to build. No. So I 6-8 weeks ago was like, okay, let's pause the B2B.
Yeah.
And let's just focus on the already extremely difficult thing of actually changing consumer behavior. But I think another thing on what you said, which is interesting, is that like there's absolutely an inclusivity narrative, but it's bigger than that. Because before, again, a brand could just have the brands with the biggest marketing budgets won.
Of course.
Purely through, they could get the biggest ad spaces, pay the biggest influencers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as algorithms get more and more personalized, that actually doesn't work anymore. Because everyone has such a different experience of a brand, of a product, of an experience.
Of course.
That if you don't have any data to measure those touch points or how someone is moving through an understanding of your product or your company.
Yeah.
What have you got?
100. And what I hear when you're talking is like, and this is actually something that we could touch on in terms of advice for founders. I think when you're trying to do everything, you're doing nothing. So it's like, to me, what I hear is that you're going to like fine art this, you know, D2C, like the consumer experience, the in-app, and that all of that data, that information will naturally lead to a B2B version of what you're doing. And I think it's a reminder to like start with one thing. I think and I know that we all have ADHD when we're entrepreneurs. Like I think it's a double-ended sword, right? Because we're like, oh, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and like, and I get it too. I could do 300,000 things, but start with the thing that's going to move into the next thing and the next thing. And I think by what you're talking about, you're going to nail this concept so clearly that the B2B version that you end up fucking building out to multi-millions will be easy as piss.
It's so funny because it's the same thing that I had like when I was in Sydney. I was a full-time student, working full-time, trying to do Bareface. I just thought I was like, oh, I'm built different, man. Like I had such an ego about it. Obviously, I did all of them deeply poorly.
Of course.
So then I was like, you can pick two. So I picked uni and I picked Bareface, which meant I had to give up my beloved Sydney and move back to Adelaide.
Yeah.
But I still picked two. that for so long, and I think this is a real difference between Aussies and Americans too, is that like I had enough proof points to back myself way earlier than I did. That I have a lot of time for the online narrative, mostly in female spaces, about like not giving up your day job too quickly,
100%.
being cautious, but in the same breath, like know when to go all in. Like I really regret how long it took me. Oh, regret's hardcore. Like everything happens in divine timing.
On reflection, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it was so funny that when I did go all in, I was still doing it within my business. I was still doing B2B to C.
Yeah.
It was like a marketplace, which didn't need to be a marketplace. I was like I was trying to do so much. And again, I think I don't know if it's even ego. I think it's more like you're trying to safeguard yourself. 100%. Because last year when I was consulting and doing my like agency market research work, I thought, if this all goes to crap, at least I've still got uni. But if I wasn't doing uni and I'd gone all in on that, who knows what it did pretty well. But like, who knows how big it could have been and where we could have landed. I think, and I don't actually know what that tipping point is either, in which when I should have gone all in. Like I think, again, the US is so good for that.
Yeah. Do you think men have that?
Fuck no, of course not.
And I think this is something that I've been thinking
audacity.
about. It's audacity. And I think it's something that I was reflecting on recently, and I thought I shouldn't say all, most men can just commit to something so deeply because I think they lack the ego sometimes of feeling like failure is bad. Like they're just kind of like, okay, whatever, sick, move on, next thing. Whereas I think women, we so want to prove that we can do it, which we can do it, but sometimes we get stuck in the fear of the failure or the fear of needing to pivot. Like pivoting and failure is the best thing ever. That like the faster you fail at something, or the faster something doesn't work, or the faster you pivot something, the faster you get to where you're going. And I think it's a conversation, and I have it too, where people will DM me and say, how did you do this and how did you do this? And I'm like, because I failed 300 times and things didn't work and I lost money, or I did this and I should have done this. But you keep going.
There's a gender element, and I also really think there's an Australian element too.
Yes.
In the sense that in the US, again, because I didn't know that there was a thing about being a first-time founder. I just thought we'd all first-time. We're all like, this is our life work, rah. But it actually adds to your track record, whether it's like it's only really with investors, to be fair. It's not really with customers. But like you've proved that you've had a crack, and you've proved that you know when to stop. Yes. Or you've proved when to pivot. That it's like I understood theoretically this idea of failure being good and like pivoting being good, but I still wouldn't action it.
Of course.
Until I'd actually been in a structure that valued it. Like it's really blown my mind.
The US is an untapped place, and I think even when I came here a few years ago before Kame took off, I remember thinking like, I don't know if you agree with me, it's impossible to describe. Like when I go home and people are like, oh, what do you like about the US?
50 different countries.
It's a like a energetic thing over here when you're around people and they're like, oh yeah, this is like my fifth or sixth thing, and you know, everyone's just so like.
But that's the win structure. Like
exactly.
At home it's like I've got to bet my house to like I've got to like there's no option other than bootstrapping.
100. Rather
than here, like I feel such comfort in being like, I want to change the beauty industry, purely because I was around enough people that were they were saying similar scaled things that I just mirrored it back to them enough times that you start to believe it.
100%.
That like actually couldn't have happened in another social dynamic. That's not even like a patting me on the back thing. It's purely your environment in which that scale of vision becomes plausible. And actually also that's the other thing, it becomes doable. Like if you pop me in the biggest consumer market in the world, you give me $1 million with my background, you actually can pull it off.
Absolutely.
Like the odds become fairly reduced rather than when I'm like, I struggle to articulate to my mother why I'm here.
Yeah, she's like, come home.
She doesn't get it at all. But she's also, it makes sense because so much of our...
And they shouldn't get it.
...work life is online now.
Absolutely.
That she's like, what, you've done so much online, why can't you keep doing it? And I'm like, because I can't meet with the heads of boutique investment firms doing beauty's biggest deals on the top of the Rockefeller Center on a Tuesday.
No.
Like, it's just... Anyway, I could rant and rave about this forever.
No, and I completely agree. It's I don't even know what I'm blanking on the word, but it's like spatial awareness. It's being in the... It's being in the spaces.
It's compounding
connecting.
network effects where, like, I always thought that for Unfiltered, pre-seed at home, prove it's a legit business, seed in a big market. Yeah. That's how you win. But what I learned on, like, the tribe trip and why I haven't gone home is that particularly, it's very different, but particularly for a consumer software business, being a little fish in a big pond as early as possible so you can have those compounding network effects is more and also in my direct business, Aussie traction didn't translate as well here. It was like, this was again while I was still really focused on B2B, but it was like the dollar value of consumer insights of an Aussie consumer is about a third of that of a US consumer. Right. Let alone the fact that US consumer data, I can sell to Europe, I can sell to Asia, I can sell to the Middle East, I can sell back to Australia, rather than Aussie data is only worthwhile to Aussie brand. And I think there's a really, really big opportunity at home, and that's like a whole other story.
And she'll be killing that too. Give her a few years. She'll be back home doing it again.
It's hard. Once you see the US of it all, it's really hard. Again, specifically in my industry, I can only talk about like my experience with like,
of course,
software and doing a lot of organic social stuff. It's really hard to be like, still want to tap into the Aussie thing, just because I think it's primarily because I want to go the venture route. Primarily because venture, they're like, what markets are you focusing on? And I'm like, the US. As soon as you're like, Australia. I had the most recent angel check I closed. Yeah. I met her in November. Not that much changed about my business other than the market I was operating in. Got the money.
How much are these people like offering and giving?
Tiny, 25K. So I've raised 100.
That's US though.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's still... I think you don't need...
But that's the thing, what we were saying about, like, the dating. I don't need the cash.
No, it's the network and it's who's investing.
It's all these different unlocks. So the first unlock was from the data guy, got backed by a big fund.
Yeah.
Then it was this, like, competitor.
Yeah.
And then it was a big consumer company. That having each of those, by the time I know what it is I'm building and I've got my little fire and I want to pour oil, like VC oil on there, these are the people that actually know way more than you do, and they've given me their personal cash.
Yeah, and then they
like
just
not
make
from
it
a
go,
fund.
Yeah,
and that's
completely agree.
Completely transformed the conversations that I've been able to have as a first-time immigrant founder.
Yeah,
like that's really what it is.
It's phenomenal.
It's good fun.
I want to touch on, I guess, just something which I think in Australia we're really lacking in. This is AI. I understand AI is a really big conversation. I think even myself as like a woman in business, I'm really doing my best to get into it, but I find it quite like, I think it's overwhelming and it's jarring for people from Australia mainly, because I think, you know, we hear about it over there, but I don't think anyone's using it till they're using AI to their full potential in Australia. What would you say over here in terms of AI growth? Like, what do you think everyone else should be focusing on back home?
Oh, it's so interesting. I was lucky because, like, as a computer science student,
you had the background of it
with a brother in AI research.
What a family.
So random.
What a family.
There's 4 of us. So like anyway, I was very lucky in my level of visibility for the last like 5-ish years, in which I don't have the same level of intimidation's not the right word. That sounds condescending, but like this.
It is though. It's intimidating.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you've been open to it. You've seen it. It's
been doing my homework for years.
Whereas like a woman like me, it is so intimidating because I'm like, what the hell? My parents are tradies and my brother's an electrician.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There ain't no AI happening in my household growing up, you know? And it is really overwhelming. And I find that I'm in a stage now where I'm like, I'm just not going to touch it yet because I'm too overwhelmed.
Interesting.
But that's where lack is.
It's so interesting because, again, in my world of business being software, like an early stage software business, the only way you can win is through pace and momentum.
Yes.
And the rate in which you can do that with artificial intelligence is mind-blowing.
I can
Is
imagine.
mind-blowing. And it is truly, like, I've actively watched it change my own life.
Yeah.
Which has really helped my, like, adoption. In saying that, when I first got here, like, I didn't have Claude on my desktop. I was still using it on a web. And I had a friend who's a content manager.
Yeah.
And he walked me through how to use it. Like, it's just, again,
So like Claude on the web versus desktop, what even is that? What are we talking about here?
life-changing.
So you don't just like have your subscription on like your
Because then it has
Chrome.
access to all your computer. Then it can go into your files. Then it can read your stuff. Then it can organize your stuff. Then it's like running your computer rather than just being prompt-based.
Okay.
Wild.
Okay, we're looking into this. We're adding this to the list.
Yeah,
We're adding
yeah.
it to the list.
But like, where to start on these types of things? Actually, maybe there's another note as well where the AI conversation I find really, really fascinating, because in my social
Yeah.
groups, it's like AI is killing the world, AI is the devil.
Interesting.
Like, yeah, my friends are out in Bushwick. They're like liberal arts people,
Yeah.
and that I have a lot of exposure to that. But then I rock up to work and I'm like, I'm building beauty is only longitudinal predictive AI, and so it's like my life is a total contradiction. But I think
But two things can exist at one time.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
I also think that like what AI can do for the back office and like alleviate time, space, team for the creative, for the human element is great. Like now my use of funds,
Yeah.
because I don't have to spend so much on the hardcore
Admin
technical stuff, we can all go and hang out in like a cool retail space and do
Yeah.
a massive activation and all hang out together.
Yeah.
Like I think again, being
Funds
consumer
are going so much further.
completely. And I think that really, really excites me. And I don't know if I could have been a software founder without it, because I'm just like, raising $4 million to only spend on engineers doesn't excite me.
No.
Spending $4 million on like changing how people experience beauty in the city.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, sign me up. Like
I love that so
it really
much.
can energize you.
Yeah.
But for the question about where to start, this is
I
kind
guess you've answered it. It's like just learning it and being in there.
But what I think that means tangibly is like, I think we, not so much anymore as we become more and more algorithmic on social media, but like curate your feed. Like
Yes.
find particularly women who are doing really digestible,
Yeah.
like 101 Claude-based stuff.
Okay.
That's where I'd start.
Yeah.
And then also chat to your girlfriends about it.
Yeah.
Like make it social. Like again, I'm ranting and raving about
But
this
also,
city.
like, you need to be in New York for that, because who the fuck's at home? And like, I think of going to coffee in the Gold Coast with my girlfriends, and they're like,
There you go.
what? So
Yeah, sure.
it is. I do think there's like an aspect of like, if you're hungry, like I was, 2 years ago. I think if you're a hungry founder, and even coming like whether it's wherever it is in the world, like if it's New York, obviously phenomenal place, do the thing, get in the right rooms. Like I think learn, talk, absorb.
I think your biggest asset as a founder is your founder friends.
100%.
And like one of the greatest gifts that came out of last year while I was figuring out what all of this meant was my friend who you should absolutely interview called Storm Menzies.
Yeah.
She's doing accessibility accessories for beauty. So they're like silicone products that go on the end of beauty accessories to help people with limited hand mobility.
Phenomenal.
But the genius of her brand is that like she's gone and made any other beauty brand, like she's expanded their market potential and their audience size by like she's an additional.
Wow.
Rather than being like, I'm a competitor, I'm additional. So she's doing the coolest shit ever. But we met at a conference in May of 25. Having her in my back pocket, because she's so across the AI stuff, just again reduces the intimidation. It helps you understand the tools.
Yeah.
And it just makes it more accessible, rather than like if I had to sit down and watch like an hour-long Claude tutorial on YouTube of how to I never would have done it.
No,
never
God, no.
would have done it.
God, no.
God, no. Who has time for that? Who has
No,
time
and
for
also we have ADHD, babe.
Yeah.
Who's sitting in the same spot listening to something?
So
I've
true.
got TikTok going, my TV's going, I've lost track of what I'm doing there, and then I'm on to the next 10 things.
Yep.
I want to finish by asking you 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first one being, if you were a founder all over again, so you hadn't done anything, you hadn't started anything, you were just, like young, hungry, wanting to do something, what would it be? What would be like 2 or 3 tangible things that you would recommend?
If you want to be in the like venture scale, big cash, like big space, which is really high risk, not for everyone, and very hardcore, not for anyone.
Yeah.
I would go and be like an early hire at another company.
Yeah.
I wish if like right now in my current gap is 0 to 1 like tech building, that if and I don't even regret it because I've now, what I lack in experience here, I have in beauty level experience, like I have in domain expertise, which has helped me a lot. But if you're infatuated with this world, go and be an early hire, take on some risk, get a little bit of equity, like be the chief of staff to some founder.
Build alongside someone doing it.
That would be really dope. If you want to build like a really profitable business and like work for yourself and have a lot of the flexibility there, post on the internet. Like actually I cannot, it sounds so trivial, and I think also amongst women where like we've been doing this for a second, like the amount of guy friends that I'm like, guys, just get on TikTok. Yeah. Just get like what it has done for my network. Like the first 3 months I was in the city, I was able to pay for through doing TikTok ads. It's fucking ridiculous. But outside of that, it gave me my entire foundational network. Enough people to, I mean, one story is that I used to be really good at checking who was following the Barefaced account. Okay. And I would stalk them. So if they had like the allure of being an industry person, I found someone who had like 20 followers, they had one video and it was at a fashion show. They were sitting front row at a fashion show. I'm like, who is this woman? I search her up. She's the ex-editor-in-chief of Elle Canada. She's now head of content partnerships at TikTok, and she has become a phenomenal mentor in the city. Wow. Purely because once you follow someone back, you end up on that friends thing, and you have this parasocial we know each other thing. That's how I met all my girlfriends in the city. Yeah. I was like, we just followed each other. So we'd seen each other's stuff for long enough.
The power of social media, man.
It's crazy. And also I need to get back on the podcasting game, because like being able to sit down with people behind a microphone that you otherwise couldn't have, because then you're offering them something. It's not just a coffee chat. It's like, hey, I've got some leverage, some distribution. Come hang out.
Let's get it out there.
What it does for your network. My network grew so much more doing random shit on the internet in Adelaide than it did working at like very legitimate companies in Sydney.
100%.
And it blew my mind, because if I'd known that, again, like from Adelaide, I did not know that talking was a commercializable skill until like last year.
It is, yeah.
But in a way that you can't actually understand until you do it, because everyone says the same shit. Like, just post the video, climb Cringe Mountain. Like, as soon as you have those proof points in your own life, it just gets way easier to back yourself, because 100%. You get this level of confidence of like, you don't have to look in the mirror and tell yourself you're capable anymore, because your track record proves that you are.
100.
So you could just walk into a room and go up to someone that was just speaking and be like, hey, I want to pitch you. Yeah. And you just do it enough times that you just end up with this like ridiculous self-assurance. Assurance, that's not a word, but like you just start being like, oh,
you're so much more
confident. I can pull it off.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
100%.
It's wild. You just start like, it is truly manifesting, because you're like rocking up as like a future version of yourself.
100.
And you do it enough times that you just become her, and then you're doing something. It's like everyone needs to experience it, because there's no amount of me telling you that could ever. It's just you step into another life, and then suddenly you're doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think it's something that I think we need to A, do more of, but B, do more of intentionally. I think sometimes it's like a last thought. It's like, oh, I'll post that video, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. It's like, no.
I know. I've really gotten slack, and now I'm like...
See, I wouldn't say you have.
I've barely been posting.
One thing I will say, though, from your... Not that... I mean, I love content. It's something that I really love. But I used to do, like, a lot of content reviews with an old boss. And one thing I think about your page is that you need to tell us more about what you're doing every video.
Yeah.
Because how you articulate yourself and what you speak about is phenomenal. But I'm like, people that aren't in the AI building, VC world... Probably.
I've had a massive revelation about this in the last week, where I will do that once I've closed my round.
Okay.
Because I've realized, and I think this is why we don't see a lot of men building in public, there's often there's often not a lot of an incentive to publish the truth.
Of course.
Like it's not white lying, but it's storytelling, or it's like shifting a narrative. Like I want to get online and tell someone about how like a massive deal fell through.
Yeah.
That punishes me when that is discoverable and I'm walking up into an investor
100.
and telling them that I chose to close that contract because it wasn't blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That I think there is this really interesting, and I did not realize that literally until the last 7 days of this incentive structure where it often you're not benefited from being honest.
Of course.
And so I also don't want to get online and lie, because I made when I first started, like I deleted my whole code base in like week 4 of my accelerator. And I'm lucky because I have angels that were like, cool, that's like what it looks like, keep going. Yeah. But that was a very, very different story than what I told VCs.
Absolutely.
So I hear you, because I want to be that person. Like I can't wait to sit down and be like, guys, I've closed a round. This is everything I learned, because I feel like an insider and I like want to bring it back to the girls. But yeah, I think there is whatever the opposite of a correlation is, like an anti-correlation between like venture funding and like authentic founder building.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. What's next in the very, very recent next few months for you, for Unfiltered?
Holy shit.
What are we going to reflect on in a few months' time and see that you've built or you've done, or your hopes?
I do not allow myself, in terms of my product, to think more than 7 days ahead anymore.
Okay.
Because I kept planning for a future and it kept shifting, which is crazy, because it's like obviously so different to like a physical goods business. I don't have stock. I don't have employees, where I just literally rock up every day. And this is actually a point you made before about like there's so many things you can do. Being a founder, being a successful founder, is only picking the single thing that will most move the needle in a day, and only giving that your energy, because there's so much shit you could be doing.
100%.
The next 7 days looks like my issue yesterday was that I have a lack of understanding of like a user session.
Yeah.
Because I can only see like direct actions. So I had to go and set up something in my back end where I can like watch someone use my application.
Okay.
From there, it'll be like, I don't want to get us stuck in like a feature iteration, like build cycle thing. So it's like a lot of consumer interview.
Yeah.
I'm now mixing my lingo. A lot of user interviews.
Yeah.
Chatting to a lot of people that are really big fans and trying to figure out how like directly at our earliest product, like not what I want it to be, what right now, what behaviors are we changing and why, what makes someone open the application, why do they come back? Like I've got one user who's saved hundreds of things to want to try, and then I've got another user that is most users that have only saved things that they have tried.
Right.
What is the difference of experience? Why are people landing at those conclusions? It's a lot of like interrogation, because
understanding.
I think my biggest learning again was that I'm so active in these beauty spaces that I thought I knew her inside out, back to front. But you cannot assume anything. You have to test everything. Yeah. And so it's doing these, like literally writing a hypothesis. I think this, because of this is how I'm going to test it. Run that. You do like 5 of those a day until you get enough proof points, not even like just theories, but proof points, then this is the actual thing that you're solving for.
Yeah, phenomenal. And
it's really, the long term is like 4 to 8 weeks, closing product market fit to the point that it makes sense to hire a team, get some big cash, off to the races.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And where do we find you?
My gosh, you can follow Barefaced at Barefaced Media on TikTok and Instagram. You can follow me, Lily 12 Tree, on TikTok and LinkedIn. My personal doesn't really exist on Instagram. It's like all my high school friends. But
it's
catch
so funny,
me there if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love chatting to founder friends. Particularly, that's actually maybe a fun call out. Aussies, if you're coming to the city, let's get coffee. Let's hang out.
Reach out.
It's really, really cool.
That's what I did.
The Aussie network.
I just voice notes everyone.
Yeah. But I did the same thing.
That's how you do it.
It's how you do it. And it's also everyone. It can be hard, like flying in, flying out, that if you can like tap into networks quickly and meet the people that are going to actually like move the needle in your business, it's good fucking fun.
And do it.
Yeah.
Literally just do it. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited for this to go live. I feel like this is like a conversation that I think is going to be very expensive for people, especially in Australia. I think a lot of us don't even know the tip of the iceberg of what's happening over here, and
I don't
funding
either.
VC.
Like this is like, I would like,
but you know more than
but we
most
can
of
sit
us.
back down in 3 months. Like I can't
Yes.
actually iterate enough the amount that I like learn and pivot in a week.
Yes.
Because it's all like every single week I'm building a new business, and it's
So
a very,
exciting.
very different build pattern than any other industry. So it's
So
wild.
We'll come back here 3 months later and we'll see
Yes.
where you're at.
Please.
Maybe we'll have a margarita next time too.
I mean, this has been great.
Got a little bloom moment. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for
You're
having
amazing.
me.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.